Hello everyone, this is Moses from Wilona's Cave. I'm going to be doing a channel update. There's my dog Lulu. Say hi, Lulu. She just woke up. It's like, I got to check on the squirrels. See if there's no squirrels in the garden. So we're going to do another channel update. I try to do this every week as best I can. So there is not a final print, but we're getting there on the, well, at least for the pamphlet version of the Echoes of the Hidden RPG that I made. But I want to talk about that and some other things. So before we talk about, before I talk about Echoes of the Hidden, I like to thank everybody for giving me feedback on the game. I'd like to thank all the new Patreon members as well for joining. Thank you. Also, Helmut and Hayden and Brenna, they are that series of Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay and Dungeon World right here. That series, I'm almost about halfway done. I'm slowing down on this. This is nowhere near completion, this game. I'm slowing down on that and putting my time and resources towards getting another episode out. Dragonbane with Hackleswell, I am writing some notes on figuring out what direction I should take Hackleswell. Well, not physical direction, direction of the story or the narrative. Well, really the dice tells me, but not, he's still gonna go up north, up the river, so that direction is not changing. But what happens? I don't know, it's up to the dice roll. So I haven't thought of a scene setup yet for that new episode, but I'm working on that. So that's the Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay Dungeon World. Episode 2 is gonna come up hopefully sometime soon, and it's eye-opening for me. So I'm surprised myself on that episode because of the dice rolls, interpreting them. So I have created, now back to Echoes of the Hidden, my role-playing game, other than Haiku Journey. I'll link some stuff in the description below so you can download this pamphlet, the updated version. I have created, which is on the screen too, I'm working on it right now. I have created all of the basic moves and optional moves that I want. I'm probably gonna pick some new ones, but I have picked all of them. I may rename some. Some of them I like, some of them I don't like after I play tested them. I have created all of the attribute, not optional, but attribute moves fully, and have created a D6 miss table for each move. So dodge and weave, if you roll a miss, there is a D6 miss table to roll on what exactly happens and what narratively will happen and what mechanically will happen as well. Most of them have a mechanic as well, like a dice mechanic is going to be altered or future alterations. Let's see. So I am going to be doing this Monsters of the Week. I like the luck points of Monsters of the Week. I'm going to be using it, but obviously as inspiration. So I have to modify it for my system. I just like being transparent of where I get things, much like Apocalypse World, Dungeon World, Fantasy Age, Assassin's Creed video game, things like that. I know of John Harper, of course I know it. He's a very good creator, excellent creator for Blades in the Dark and other games he's made. For the progress clock, I may use something like that. I'm not too sure of a clock or something, but I may use something like that, and of course I'll give inspiration to him for that. I don't want to take anything's thing and act like it was my own. There's some things that are my own. So for my solo system of the game, I created a verb and noun table for everyone to use. So play tested it, it worked really well. Might change some words out, but it worked well. So I had a follower suggest an idea for me to include line art, because I mentioned that I don't like coloring. I have oil pastels coming in, arriving today, and paper. I haven't used pastels in a long time, but I have to get over that. It's just, you can't erase color. You could erase shading. So I'm very good at shading and drawing, but coloring, I get nervous. And you know, when you're not confident in something, it doesn't go so well sometimes. So I did line art, but then I went through Photoshop and made them really dark and fixed it to where they're not jaggedy. This takes a long time to do this. But these are the big pictures of them, so hopefully they look kind of nice. So you go through and you could color, or this could be artwork in the book. I have more drawings I can do. Doing tracing without shading is so much faster. But going through Photoshop and making it bold and not jaggedy, because you know, I no way can I just do it this sharp like that. This is Photoshop helping me out with my drawings. So I like to thank that follower for that suggestion. Really good idea. Now I haven't used Photoshop in a long time, but I'm just amazed at the program called, or the sub-program, I guess, called Firefly for Photoshop, where you could do a lot of things with it, but one of them is you could submit your line drawings, or your drawings that is, tell it in a prompt, I'd like to add sand, colors, neutral colors, bright colors, etc., and it will get your drawing, depending on the strength modifier, you know, like going less of my drawing and almost all my drawing power, like 100%, try to use my drawing 100%, and then it spits out stuff like this. So I've drawn these, and then it comes back with the color of just coloring them in. This is basically how I drew them as well. So I'm basically about 35, 40 pages in. That's without oracles and tables and things like that. There's gonna be a lot of those. It's going to be solo centric first. So I'm gonna think of the solo player first, and then other things will add on for a GM to play. So, or facilitate them being a GM. So when it's time to roll and the player rolls a 6 miss or a 6 under and it's a miss, there's gonna be tables for a GM, i.e. solo tables, but there's gonna be tables for a GM. There's going to be directions. There's going to be a whole bunch of stuff that will facilitate a solo playthrough, but will help a GM. So I don't really play in groups, but I have GM'd for my son, and I can only imagine the issues that a GM could have, like especially with the Power by the Apocalypse type systems. This is a modified version of that system, but with this is like there's a lot of like narrative that the GM has come up with. There will be a lot of tables in here to help facilitate that for that GM. Right here, and she reminded me of the remnants of the castle she built me. She took it apart. I was looking for it. I'm editing the video you've been watching, and she gave me a castle. She said my game needs a castle, so I am creating, or at least taking notes right now of creating a stronghold for Echoes of the Hidden. So the band of your group will have a stronghold if they get one, that is, or if you start them out with one, and there's going to be like hirelings. She wants to sit next to me. She's putting the chair next to me. And by the way, I'll put up in the picture or in the video right now of a question I got, and I always get, is how do I find time to do all this? So I'm playing solo, like they're asking advice on I'll put it up on the screen right now so you can read what the question was, but it's about where do I find time to do all this stuff? So editing all these videos, creating games, etc., and being a father of 2. Say hi, Talene.
Hi.
And a puppy dad. Lulu, hey, there's no more squirrels, don't worry. So that video, I'm gonna create a video on that topic. But regardless, there's gonna be strongholds. If you like strongholds, thank my daughter, because she's the one that said she put a castle. I'll put the picture on the screen right now if I find it, in front of my laptop, and said, Daddy, your game needs a castle. And I went, castle? I went right away, this is not fantasy. I went, stronghold. Anyways, back to the video. Now with Fantasy Age 2nd edition, where I take inspiration from, there's a few things I want to show you that I'm really considering for my system. One is that there is benefits for certain races. I don't have, or heritages, or backgrounds. I don't have that. It's all human in this system, that is, until I make a fantasy one, which, by the way, I have notes for fantasy, and I have notes for other things as well, other settings for this type of system that I'm creating. I really do like these, and I'm wondering if I can make use of them in this system. But what I really like is the leveling system. So I'm gonna study this a bit more and try to create a leveling system for my system. And I really like the talents of this system. It's kind of like Edges of Savage Worlds, where let's say you have arcane training and then you have requirements for that, and then you have a novice, expert, and a master level. So you can upgrade specific talents. And I really like that. I really love customizations. I really love that. That's why I like Witcher and Skyrim and other games like that. I love skill trees, but if you want to stick at one of the, the fruits of that tree, the point of that tree, like let's say it's a two-handed sword, and you want to stay there and not go down or up the skill tree, and you want to keep investing more points into that talent or skill, I really love that kind of stuff. And I really want to do that for this system. I've been trying to do something, it's been kind of tough, but this might help with that. Because I really wanted to create draw like a beautiful tree, something like that, like a mythical looking tree, and then there would be points on the tree where it will be your skill tree. So if you go this way in this branch, you're gonna miss out on all these other skills because you went this direction. I really like that. But it's not as easy as I thought because there's so many branch points. This might be the way to go, I think. Maybe modify this a bit. But yeah, so I'm really liking it. So I'm working on a few more expansions for Haiku Journey, my other game. Those are going pretty well. I love that system, nice and easy going. I'll link up the older version in the description below, but the full or the newly updated one, it will be on my Patreon. And I think that's good. There's probably some more things I could talk about, but I gotta get back to work and I gotta hurry up before all my family wakes up. So happy gaming, everybody. I'll continue doing these. I got great responses from people that want to know more about the behind the scenes of what I do. Once again, happy gaming. Bye.